So one of the most common questions, I think, in all of fitness bodybuilding is, what is the best split, right? What is the best split? Is it push-pull legs? Is it upper lower? Is it 2 on 1 off? Is it 3 on 1 off? Is it full body every day or 3 times a week? And I think the most important place to start with answering this question is to start by questioning the assumptions of the question. So what are the assumptions of the question? Well, the assumptions of the question are, number one, that a split should sort of come first in the thought process of programming. And in addition to that, number two, that a split will dictate essentially everything else as it relates to programming, right? And that assumption, or that set of assumptions, is backwards to me. So let's think about this in another way. When you are a personal trainer, for example, I'm a personal trainer, and you are working with a client, hopefully one of the first couple things that you ask that person is, what are your goals? And in addition to what are your goals, what's your availability? How many days in a week can you get into the gym? And how many days, more importantly, in a week are you willing to get into the gym? Willing and able, right? So that's where ultimately I think that this conversation should start. It shouldn't start with, well, what's the best split? Let me just go and do that, right? It's kind of like asking, what's the best diet to, the bodybuilder that's 300 pounds and has been training for 20 years, right? And hopefully that's self-evident insofar as why that's a silly question to ask that person. So again, back to this question of what's the best split. Well, the best split is the one that really accounts for all of the more important variables, like how often can you train? How often do you want to train? What kind of training style might you like or have you liked in the past? And what are your volume requirements? How many sets in a week do you think that you need to do? If you have no idea what your volume requirements are, that's probably a much more important thing to tackle in relationship to this original question of what's the best split, right? So the best split really is kind of a question that almost answers itself when you understand all of the more important variables in training and programming and nutrition, right? Because ultimately, even your diet is a form of programming, at least in a sort of different kind of a way. So rather than asking what's the best split, ask yourself all of those other questions first, and then watch the answer to that question, the original question that you had, answer itself and sort of unfold naturally. Hope that helps.